Hello and welcome to this week's Geeky Grapplers podcast. I am your host once again for this week, Ian, and I am joined by only two of my co-hosts today, those being Lulu and Flips, because unfortunately Breaker is a bit under the weather, and he gave us permission to record the podcast without him, and we said, yeah, sure, okay. I will explain what we've changed about the podcast, but this is mainly going to be the here are all the segments we are intending on doing podcast. It's not a review of a show like we did for New Japan Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah,
thank you.
2 weeks ago.
But starting off, lads, how are we? How we doing? How's this fortnight been for you?
Did someone say? No, never mind.
We're not that kind of podcast.
What's up, gamers? We're talking about our top 10 Fortnite kills this week. We're not. We're really not. I've never even played it. Oh god, help.
Oh,
The youths, they play the games that I don't like.
But to answer the question, are you guys good?
Yeah, I guess.
Is anyone good?
All right, I'm just...
in this hell world, let us embrace nihilism in this second episode.
So the news.
Oh wait, actually, I got
Oh, okay.
No, okay, no,
Go,
keep going.
no, you go. No, go.
It's fine. I don't matter. I get it. Continue.
Doing well. Episode 2 of the Geeky Grapplers podcast. This is where it all goes wrong. News, wrestling news mainly. NXT India is a thing, because they're starting off with the Superstar Spectacle, which, as of recording, was taped...
Was named by Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, as of recording, was taped today, actually.
Yeah, actually it was.
Yes, it's being taped, I say right now, it's like a few hours' time. It's going to obviously have a lot of Indian talent there, namely, like, Jinder Mahal, the Bollywood Boys. And also, I wanted to bring this up. Apparently, there's going to be 2 wrestlers from the Great Khali's school, and apparently they're both 7 foot tall. So
they're big boys.
We're going to get 2 more Great Khalis in WWE.
No.
Are you excited, boys?
Punjabi
I'm
prison
ready.
matches, as far as the eye can say.
No, what's your thoughts on the NXT India? Just in general.
I mean, if it
I don't
gets
know.
more Indian, yeah, I really don't know anything about Indian wrestling, or like if there is a scene in India. But apparently it's a burgeoning market that they tried and failed to get 4 years ago. Remember that? That was my first exposure. That was one of the first things I saw in wrestling. Jinder Mahal's WWE Championship run.
And that, boys, is how we tease newer episodes. You want to hear about Lulu's perception?
Spicy foreshadowing?
You want to hear about Lulu's origin story? Tune in at some other point.
Tune in once, eventually.
Maybe.
Yeah, you'll know which one it is. Don't worry, just read the title.
It'll be in the title, yeah. Don't know what the title for this week's going to be.
Another big news is AEW related. They've announced that Sting is going to be wrestling.
Wow.
60-plus-year-old Sting is going to be wrestling in a street fight tag team match with Darby Allin facing Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, who I absolutely love Team Taz. I don't know about you guys, especially
I like Team Taz,
especially Ricky Starks. I think that boy, he's like 28. That guy has a lot of like potential. Like, he's absolutely amazing at like talking, at wrestling. He's got the package. He's got it.
He definitely does. He has a lot of charisma.
But yeah, it's Sting wrestling.
And he looks like Rami Malek.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. But Sting wrestling in 2021. Who'da funk it? Who wants it?
Let's be real.
It really depends on how it goes. It could be okay.
I think the fact that they put him in the street fight.
Let's be real though. It's a street fight.
Yeah.
All the best thing that's gonna come from this is all the memes of him hitting people with the bat.
Yeah, it's gonna be all
and getting bonked, go to horny jail. Memes out of it.
And another person of interest in this last fortnight has been Jay White, our favourite Kiwi boy from New Japan. Or is he at
He's not
New
only
Japan?
Kiwi boy in New Japan.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. But is he at New Japan? because apparently there's been a lot of interest shown in WWE for Jay White, and as of the 22nd of January, when this is being recorded,
I'll wait to date the recording.
Yeah, it's okay. His profile isn't on the New Japan roster, but we also have to point out that like they still have Jay Lethal and Marty Scurll and people that haven't been in New Japan for a while still on their roster. So it could mean absolutely nothing, but also
absolutely everything.
Jay White in WWE.
I don't know how I'd feel about that, to be quite honest.
No,
I would worry because a lot of his stuff is more complex and head droppy than WWE is comfortable with doing.
It's the New Japan style.
Yes. And also, his finisher is Sister Abigail. Well, it's not. It's the Blade Runner. But it is basically Sister Abigail. So they won't let him use it, probably.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, which I don't... It's like taking the Rainmaker from Okada. I don't want to see Jay White not using the Blade Runner.
Yeah, because he'd end up being with like just his submission. That'd be the only thing he could use.
I feel like if Okada only used the money clip.
Yeah, for a year.
But speaking of New Japan, guys, sing to the heavens. The band is back together. Bullet Club's a thing again. Oh my god. Bullet Club is back.
God, you're right.
Bullet Club
I know.
is back.
Bullet Club is back.
Bullet Club is back. I can't not laugh at it because it's
in All Elite Wrestling. Because apparently we stopped existing for 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, not 4 years, 2 years, however long it's been.
What is your...
It feels like 4 years.
I don't think they've outright called themselves Bullet Club yet, but what is your feeling on them already doing the Too Sweet and basically, like you say, being Bullet Club without explicitly being called Bullet Club?
It wasn't that made me like burst out laughing. It was watching the Twitter reactions to it. It was night one of your New Year's Slam, wasn't it? It was after the Ray Phoenix Omega match that they did that.
Great match, right? Just to point that out.
All the Twitter reactions going, "Oh my god, Bullet Club is back in AEW because they're doing the Bucks and the Good Brothers are doing the Too Sweet with Kenny," and I'm like, bro, we've not disappeared. We're still here. Just because they left doesn't mean Bullet. yeah. All of y'all with the freaking Bone Soldier t-shirts going, I'm BC for life and all this. Immediately ditched it as soon as all the ones they liked left, and then didn't realize it was still a thing. BC is still a thing in New Japan, and the entity currently in AEW doesn't have a label yet, as far as I know.
Unless they said something last
stop calling it Bullet Club. Yes, but again, it's not Bullet Club. But it did make me laugh reading Twitter, going like everyone like freaking out, like, "Oh god, Bullet Club's back!" And I'm like, "We never left. We're still here in New Japan."
Did you see Impact? Born to Kill. Is it Born to Kill? Where in the 6-man tag, Kenny Omega came out in a Halloween Bullet Club shirt. He is stirring the pot. All he's doing is stirring that pot, getting us talking about it.
Also, it was Hard to Kill, Ian.
Hard to Kill, not Born to Kill.
Hard to Born.
Hard to Born, yeah.
I didn't see that because I don't watch Impact.
I was going to watch it until the main event.
They changed the tag. Yeah. But yeah, I did not know he came out in Halloween BC shirt. Yeah. But again, if they're going to do it, just do it. Yeah. You know,
fight the trademark. Stick it to the man.
It's not even a fight because they didn't use it, and they never finished the application for it. And I feel like they're the kind of people who would get it and then just be like, "Yeah, anyone can use it. We don't care."
Yeah, basically.
Because I don't think they do.
But that's the news.
That's all the news that we care about this week, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we've in a 2-week span, there has been so much news that's probably not the best idea to try and talk about all of it Otherwise, this podcast is going to be 7 hours long, and I don't have that long. I have work tomorrow. But
man, imagine having a real job. this post brought to you by Student Gang.
But any other news you guys want to add?
I can't think of anything.
Going once, going twice.
Sold
To the next section. So moving on to the main topic of this episode, we were going to talk about our kind of perception on wrestling, kind of like where our opinions come from, like from like our origin and stuff like that. But with Breaker not being here, we thought it would only be fair to leave that for a later episode for when all of us are here, so you can get everyone's story. And
yes, we have to do it like the MCU. We have to do all the origin stories together and then do the Avengers.
Yeah, then we can have the fun.
Ian doesn't get that joke because he's not seen any of it, but it was a good joke.
Let's not bring that up yet. We'll get to that section. But for this one, we're going to go into one of my favorite aspects of wrestling, the themes, the wrestling themes. And we were originally going to just do current themes, but we found that it's just easier to just do themes that we like. So, who would like to start off with their favorite theme in wrestling?
Okay, well,
I don't know. If only we had a host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However,
great.
I'm gonna steal it from you. So, heck yeah. I'm going to start off with what I think is probably the current theme I'm most looking forward to hearing in front of a crowd. Again, like having a proper crowd, and the defining song of 2020 for the very brief period that it was, Judas.
Ooh,
Chris Jericho's theme.
Jeez.
Because the only times, like when that was like early 2020, before
Stuff
big
happened.
Pandemic times, before the event. Don't go outdoors, folks.
The Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
You can't say that.
You can't say. Cut.
Okay. Sorry, I'll cut it. Can I not actually say that?
Yes, you can. We're just memeing.
It's okay. I'll cut this. I'll cut this out. It's
no,
fine.
don't cut.
No,
don't cut.
no,
cut
we
like,
already
cut
talked
this.
about it.
Cut,
It's
cut,
fine.
Cut up this. Cut up this. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You actually just don't cut aim it. Don't cut aim it. We're going.
Do it live.
Hello,
Do it live.
welcome back.
But yeah, as I was saying, Judas by Chris Jericho's theme, just because for that like 3 months or however long it was, like between early January and March, was it, where they like obviously we still had full crowds, where it was starting to get sung, like the Jericho Cruise and the Revolution, and the music would stop and the crowd would carry on. I'm really looking forward to seeing that again.
For sure.
It's such a great crowd interaction theme, especially because they're seemingly turning Jericho here face again. So if he's turning face, it's even better because it's a great way to play to the crowd.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are saying that they're getting sick of it now, which I can understand why, but you can't argue that it is a great theme for especially for Jericho because it's his band. But when you know your theme is good when you can get the entire crowd to sing it. It's the same as like Nakamura's theme from WWE, the original Rising Sun. When you've got a crowd that can chant that every single time, you know you've got a good theme for life. Thoughts on Judas, Flips? The song, not
I don't know. You mean the guy that did that thing to that one guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't love him, but that's yeah. Judas is. I mean, having the crowd chant it, I think. Yeah, I would love to go back to that.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Get vaccinated if you can, folks.
Yes. This is a PSA for the Geeky Grapplers podcast.
And wear your masks.
Do it.
Yeah.
Or we'll be very disappointed in you.
We have no moral authority to assert that over people.
Pretty much.
We're just a wrestling podcast.
Flips,
we're assholes.
What's your favorite wrestling theme?
I don't know. Take a guess.
I don't know. The crowd don't know us that much yet, so you should probably just say it.
No, I think you should take a guess.
Is it Nyla Rose?
Oh, you think you know me.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, a little joke to myself there. Little joke.
So
yeah, Edge's theme.
It's Edge's theme.
Are you okay, Ian?
Yeah, I'm fine.
No,
it's fine. So why Edge's theme?
Well, first, it was always just a really rockin' theme, but I think when he comes back, like, I will never be able to like disconnect the emotions because I went to the Rumble not knowing what was going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just the like, because when I used to watch wrestling, it was when like Edge was wrestling and stuff, so it was really cool to hear that. Like, it really brought me back, and I was not prepared for it. So I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be able to see it as anything other than just a great song that brings up a lot of like old emotions.
I think what makes Edge's theme so good, and what makes quite a few people's themes good, is that sting at the start. I think it's called a sting or a stinger.
No, Sting's a different wrestler.
No, I know. God damn. I don't like his theme. It's a man called Sting. No, we're not going there.
Yeah, we're not doing least favourite themes. God.
Not yet. Not
trying to inject some positivity.
But with the themes, the stinger is always the best part of it. There was a video from last year's Royal Rumble of this like Scottish guy like just filming himself in the crowd, just being like, "Oh, who's coming out next?" And it was when Edge's theme came on, and it's that split second of people hearing "You Think You Know Me." And just as soon as it kicks in, the place explodes. Like, having that sting it's why Stone Cold would always get the best reactions. Is because he had that glass shatter. So you knew, oh crap, it's Stone Cold. Stuff's about to get serious. Does that make sense? Like, having a good sting?
That makes total sense, yeah.
Yeah.
You get the entire crowd hyped up, and yeah.
And Alter Bridge as well are pretty good. I can safely say Alter Bridge are pretty good.
Okay. Can I guess one that you would pick because it segues from the point we've just made?
Go on.
Because it's also on my list, and I would presume so. So we've not told each other what we've picked, apart from one that everyone here knows what I've picked.
Yes.
Unscripted Violence, Jon Moxley's theme.
Ooh, that's not mine. That's not on my
I'm shocked
list.
it's not on yours, because it's absolutely the same principle.
It's not on my list, but it's obviously a great theme.
Well, I mean, if you want a great like stinger theme though, too, Undertaker.
Yeah, just that the bell toll, you know who it is immediately. Someone I think has a good stinger theme, and I say it's a stinger theme. It's not really a stinger, but it's just the start of the song, and you know who it is immediately. Is Darby Allin's theme from AEW. You hear that guitar, and you're like, oh, it's Darby, it's the boy. Like, I love Darby.
Is he gonna break his neck this time?
Yeah. Is this the career-ending match? We'll never know. I love Darby Allin's theme. I think this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think the AEW themes are as strong as they could be. Like, they've got this problem where they've got fantastic themes like Cody, John, Pac, Lance Archer, Kenny. They've got all these amazing themes.
Kingston's is pretty decent.
I like Kingston's as well. But then they've also got the meh themes, like where it's just like
a loop, like the Lucha Bros theme.
Generic loops. That's an unpopular opinion on mine. Lucha Brothers theme is good.
It's not. It's a loop. It's boring,
but it's a good loop. You can't ignore when a loop is good. Like, I
don't like it though. It's let's not argue over it.
This is the first argument of the podcast, and it won't be the damn last. But one that I wanted, I when we were planning these out together, the one that I didn't want to tell you because I wanted to see your reaction. One of my favorite themes from a few years ago is still Sanity's theme.
Oh no, I agree with you there.
Oh, Sanity was a fantastic faction. And
I miss Sanity.
Oh, the theme was so good. I think what made the theme good as well is the fact that they then made 2 variations of it for Nikki Cross and Killian Dane, which then made the original even better. Because it was like, because then you knew the song was good when you could make new songs out of the original.
Yeah, as well, it was, again, it has a stinger. It's that helicopter, like, radio call in.
Yeah. Yeah, so you knew, it's Sanity. It added to the character as well. I think that's a big thing with some themes as well. Some themes just don't add anything to a character. Whereas, like, Sanity's theme is perfect for Sanity. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
You gave that theme to somebody else, it wouldn't fit. But you give it to Sanity, and you let them run around like crazy like they used to do, you knew that, like, these guys mean it. Because that was...
Basically, we miss Sanity.
Sanity. Yeah, Sanity were fantastic.
Me and Flips have both given one, so would you like to give one of your themes?
Well, I've actually already given 2. Sanity and Darby Allin are both on my list as, like, genuinely one of my favourite themes. But my absolute favourite theme is Pete Dunne's. This may be bias, because Pete Dunne is my favourite wrestler, and we'll get to that in a future episode. But I don't know what it is, but it's the same idea of it just fits. It just fits the Bruiserweight perfectly. And you can argue that it's a loop, because it is. But, again, it's a good loop. Like, it's intense and hype, but still heavy as heck. Like, I don't know. What is your opinion on Pete Dunne's theme?
From what I can remember, I do like his theme. I do. I remember his theme. It's a good theme. I do think it fits his character, but as you say, it is a loop.
Yeah.
It is, but it's probably one of the best loops. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite themes, but it's definitely a good theme.
That was the problem with CFOS when they were still in the WWE, was that a lot of the songs, you look back and you go, oh, it's just 2 sections. Like, Bobby Roode's theme is... Robert Roode's old theme, which is Glorious Domination, was the Glorious section, and then the guitar solo. And that was the entire song for 5 minutes. Like, that was always the problem, is that they would just make amazing loops, but loops. And you were hoping that they would make something a bit more... with a bit more meat to it.
Do you have any opinions on the Bruiserweight theme, Flips?
I would say I really like the Bruiserweight, but that's it.
Everyone loves the Bruiserweights. Everybody loved the Bruiserweights.
How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish?
Bro.
Are
we hired? Have we made it? Are we actors?
We did it, Mum.
We did it.
We're famous.
Any other themes that people want to shout out?
I'll go with another WWE CFOS loop then, but probably the best, and also has the best stinger, I would argue, of any CFOS loop. Undisputed Era's theme.
Oh, yeah.
Because every time that Shock the System drops, the crowd goes. Like, it's the best crowd pop for any entrance theme in WWE today.
Absolutely. Undisputed Era should never break up, just so we can hear the theme all the time. You know what makes it even better as well is Kyle O'Reilly when he has a title and he's just playing the guitar as he comes down to the ring.
That is true. That is great.
Kyle O'Reilly is the guitarist. He has become guitar, and I love him.
Okay. As much as I love New Japan, Kyle's a better guitarist than Tanahashi. Don't at me.
Ooh, that's a...
Ooh, is this our first controversial opinion? Ooh.
No, Ian, because you've opened your mouth.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We haven't said any New Japan themes, to be fair.
Would you like me to?
Oh yeah, let's ask our resident New Japan expert.
I'm not a New Japan expert, I just like New Japan.
Can I try and guess one of Flips's?
Go ahead.
Is Intoxication, Toriano's theme, potentially on yours?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Would you like to talk about intoxication?
It is one of the least fitting themes, I think, in the history of wrestling. But I love it. Because you don't expect like this weirdly metal song to be Toru Yano's theme.
Can we point out that technically makes it the most fitting because his entire character is a paradox?
That is true. That's very true.
It's very true. I also love with intoxication is that it starts off super nice and then just goes to the dun dun dun, and you go, "Oh, it's gonna get exciting." Toriano walks out with a DVD, and you go,
and a t-shirt
with all his not paraphernalia.
Yeah, it is paraphernalia.
It's paraphernalia.
No, yeah. You know, his trophy and 17 rolls of tape, as you do,
and
occasionally an electric razor.
Oh,
and yeah.
Anyone who doesn't know New Japan is just thinking, what is this? What is this? Who is this? Why is this?
We can't explain Toriano. You just have
watch
to.
Him.
Just experience him.
Experience Toriano. I love that.
Well, if we're going to stick to New Japan themes, then I'm going to say my favorite theme.
Yeah, go for it.
Which is why a certain AEW theme is not on here, which is Kenny Omega's New Japan theme, Devil's Sky, which is my personal favorite wrestling theme of all time, because it just sounds like the world's ending, and it's great. It sounds like death and thunder and like everything like is charging towards that ring, right? It's got all the hype, it's got the choir, it's got the thunder, it's got the guitar, everything. It's the synergy, bro. It's the synergy, bro. All this stuff in it, but it just fits so well with the Terminator and the cleaner gimmick and everything. Every single time walks down that ramp in New Japan, like for like a Wrestle Kingdom entrance or a Dominion entrance, and Devil Sky's blurring in the background, it sounds like it adds so much to the atmosphere of the match, because it gives such grandeur to his entrance. And I don't think they've captured it with Battle Cry. Much as I love Battle Cry is a great theme, but all the stuff they've added around his entrance, like the cleanerettes, the silhouette in the entrance thing, the really long intro by Justin, is all, I feel like, trying to recapture that like essence that is behind that Devil Sky did on its own.
I don't think that's what that bit's doing, though. I think that's just character. Like,
well, it is character.
The idea is that Kenny Omega is too big for his boots, if that makes sense. Like, he sees himself as the main event every time, so he's the one that's allowed to have the grand entrances.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Time. Is that entrance theme did that all? It was, this is, all your focus has to be on this, because it is like because the oncoming storm.
He's the cool guy. He's the protagonist.
Yes, he is the bout machine.
He has the power of God and anime on his side.
Absolutely. That's all we need, is God and anime on our side.
Now, do you want me to segue into another New Japan theme that I'm going to say completely complements that, or do either of you want to talk about one of your themes?
I'm interested. No, what?
With Devil Sky, I have very little opinion on it because I missed it. Like, we've gone back and watched Kenny Omega matches, but I've never really like sat down and listened to Devil Sky, which is, absolutely blasphemous from me. Like, fair enough. But I do remember, like you say, watching his entrance and thinking, wow, this guy seems important. Like when I first met Kenny Omega in his first match with Okada, I realized then, like, oh, this guy's serious. He means business because of how grand everything is.
Well, to build off that, I will also put in Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada's theme.
Yeah.
every single variant of it. It doesn't matter. It's probably one of the best themes ever written for a pro wrestler. Because not only does it fit his character, not only does it have one of the best stingers in the coin drop, not only does it sound like the most important theme, but it complements everyone's theme. Because as soon as that coin drops, it gives so much importance to everything. And it's one of the reasons why Okada Omega matches work so well is you start off, usually, because he's a challenger with Omega, and it's this, like, I'm going to ride out and come out and fight and whatever, right? And, you know, put all your attention on me. And then the final boss theme hits, and that's Okada's theme.
Yeah.
Okada is the final boss. He's the guy at the end of the dungeon,
Always.
Right? He's the Dark Souls boss of New Japan, right? He's the guy who stops you because he's the goddamn Rainmaker, and he's going to come down and kill you with the lariat, right?
Yeah.
And that's that atmosphere that everything in that theme builds on Okada's character as this god, right? As this, like, but yeah, it is. He is the final boss. He's, you know, beat him, kill God, become god of wrestling, right? That's Okada's character, and everything about the Rainmaker theme adds to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Rainmaker is a fantastic theme. Yeah, I think... Is it safe to say Rainmaker's the best theme in New Japan currently? I feel like, it's hard. I would say it is.
For like, top-tier level talent, and not to, like, put down anywhere, but for, like, top-level guys in New Japan probably is the best. It's probably the strongest theme on its own, if that makes sense. Like, it carries a lot of the weight still. Because Okada's not really been high on the card as much as it obviously has been in previous years.
Oh, yeah, last year.
But he still has that aura, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You wouldn't say Okada's lost any of his aura.
Oh, God, no. You know as soon as the coin drops, it's like, oh, God's making an entrance. Definitely.
So who wants to make a thing next? Because I've just done two, so...
Go on, Flips.
I think it was time. It was coming at some point.
we laugh because
whatever could it be?
We know exactly what's coming up.
Yuka Sakazaki. I can fly.
Yeah, which we'll just take a back seat on this. You can explain.
It's hard to explain without performance, really.
Don't perform it, we'll get copyright strikes.
Yeah, actually.
You're right. Because it's just and it's lovely.
It's like cocaine Lucky
Charms. An amazing wrestler.
It fits her, obviously. It's Yuka Sakazaki, but it's hype. It's so hype. You can't not feel happy listening to it. Like you put that as like your alarm when you wake up. You're waking up every day with a smile on your face.
I should do that.
Oh, we should do that. Just like I've had 2 hours of sleep. Yuka Sakazaki's bringing me out of that. I'm happy. My day is great if I'm listening to Yuka. Oh yeah, that is a fantastic theme, and they nearly didn't use it in AEW because of legal issues.
Because they're weak.
Who lets the law get in the way of genies?
Kenny it was the good boy at that point because he was actually like really upset that they didn't use Yuka's I Can Fly theme. So at least Kenny's working his magic over there. But I'm glad that you said
Kenny understands.
But that's because Kenny's a weeb.
Yeah, basically.
A mentally talented wrestler, and yeah, but he's still a weeb.
God. But I'm glad that you started talking about female wrestlers because on my top 5 is a female wrestler theme, and I don't know if you guys could guess it.
Is it, by any chance, She's Australian, isn't she?
God damn it, you got it.
Yeah, of course I get it.
Emelina. No. It's Rhea Ripley. Mainly because I'm one of the sad people who, when I go to the gym, I play wrestling themes in my headphones. Because what better music to work out to than wrestling music? I'm going to look like Okada if I listen to Rainmaker. That's just how science works. But
I can't argue with that, actually.
Exactly.
That's
flawless logic. We're not doctors.
The Geeky Grapplers podcast would like to clarify that we are not trained or medically cleared doctors.
In any way.
But Rhea Ripley's theme is just one of those, like, workout themes.
I'm a doctor of thugonomics.
Went to night school. But Rhea Ripley's theme is one of those workout songs where you get that, again, the stinger of This Is My Brutality, and it kicks in, and it just keeps going the entire time. I'm lifting those weights with one hand, and I'm like, 50 reps because I'm a beast, because Rhea Ripley's shouting at me, and what happened to her in 2020? I'm so upset.
I mean, we know what happened to her in 2020.
Charlotte Flair. I'm sad. I'm so sad. Like, I think the rumor come out that she's coming to the Royal Rumble, which I think she's already been in. Am I?
She was in last year's Rumble.
But I think having her in the Royal Rumble and then debuting her on main roster, she's done everything she can at NXT, and I just want to see her get revenge. That's the story's there. Just, Charlotte, you took the title off me, and then you did nothing, and you ruined my career. I'm now going to ruin you. And then Charlotte wins anyway, because Charlotte wins, lol. Side tangent over. Do you have any female wrestling themes, Lulu, that you...
I don't actually have any female on my list that I've written out here because I mostly did New Japan themes, and I'm now struggling to remember any that I like because you've put me on the spot.
I'm putting you on the spot.
EO's theme.
If you don't, you're gonna sound pretty sexist. So, like, you should really.
Which
EO's newer theme?
Yeah.
With, EDM one is really good.
The EDM bass, sub bass,
and also because I have to, and I know Breaker would have put it on his list if he was here. Asuka's Empress of Tomorrow.
Empress of Tomorrow is fantastic. Again, that would not work for anyone else.
No, exactly. It's perfect for Asuka.
Now that I think about it, for you, I'm very surprised you haven't said Ember Moon.
That's true.
I'm surprised that's not even on
She's
your
great.
top 5.
That's true. Although I did do a top 10, and I've actually got 11 because I added Darby's when you mentioned it. But yeah, probably Ember Moon's theme as well, because that's a great theme.
It's fantastic. I think
it's just really nice, isn't it?
I like how we've picked all the trying to put this in a way that doesn't make me sound bad, and it's not going to work. But we've picked all the alt themes for female wrestlers, because I think the problem with female wrestling themes a lot of the time is that they have to be this happy-go-lucky, yeah, I'm happy to be here, I'm super cute and awesome. Whereas not all wrestlers are meant to be super cute and happy. Sometimes you just need a Rhea Ripley who's just going to shout at you.
Can we point out that this is basically the Alexa Bliss syndrome, where Bliss's dubstep theme had stuck around forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
When you from Sparkle Bliss era.
Did you ever listen to the Sparkle Bliss theme?
No, I did not.
It's the exact same theme but less dubstep, and it's meant to be really cute and pretty. It's genuinely, it's really good.
Fair enough. I mean, maybe I'll listen to it at some point. In time when we're not recording.
in the next 90 years, I'll probably listen to it,
Yeah, at some point.
My top 5's nearly finished, actually, so I might as well finish off with my mid-table one. My number 3 is Finn Balor.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's
surprise.
An interesting day.
Yeah. I love it. I love it and miss it. If that makes sense. I because I was really, really into Finn Balor, like just before he came up to came up to Raw, and just every single time you'd get the throw the arms out in the like orchestral chorus, and it was just. This might offend you, but it kind of gave me the same vibe as Devil Sky, where it's like this grand, like, this person means everything because we've got this grand opera behind it.
Uh-huh.
That sounds like a... listen here.
Not all I'm saying is that, at least Devil Sky didn't get used on, like, jobbers on Raw. Sorry, enhancement talent on Raw.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I know it's not part of the theme. The theme hasn't changed. But have you seen Finn Balor's entrances now that he's the prince again?
I have seen one or two of them.
Where he doesn't... When he throws the arms up, it used to, like, the lights would go brighter and you could see everyone. But as soon as he came back, what he would do now is throw the arms up and everything else goes pitch black except for him.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's such a small detail, but it's perfect for.
It's the little things, folks.
It's the little things. Yeah, that's my top 5: Darby, Pete Dunne, Finn Balor, Sanity, and Rhea Ripley.
Can I throw another woman's theme on then, and an AEW theme as well, seeing as they've been the most underrepresented?
Oh, for sure.
But it's not in my top 10 for one very specific purpose, and that's Hikaru Shida's theme. And it's that goddamn long intro that's way too long.
Yeah.
It's too long an entrance. It's too long a theme. If they cut that opening like part and it was just straight into the like taiko drumming, I think it's taiko drumming, isn't it?
Yeah.
That like and the whatever, it'd be a great thing because it would have that immediate. That drum would be the stinger.
Absolutely, because the guitar and the flute part sells it.
Yeah, exactly.
It tells you, oh, it's Shida. I'm trying to think of other AEW themes because again, the argument is that they've got very good and very bad themes. I know one that I think we all agree on is Lance Archer's.
Yeah, I've got that on mine.
Yeah, I knew that'd be on your top 10.
Again, Lance Archer is someone I discovered in New Japan before he went to AEW, before everyone decided they liked him.
I knew Lance Archer before he was cool.
Yeah. Look, I like being a hipster. It's fun. Because, as well, he did the exact same thing as Sonada did for you, which is I had no expectation of him going in and hadn't even seen anything. And then his first match was the first of last year's G1. Not last year, but like... The G1 Climax 29.
Yes.
Against Ospreay, and it was great.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I really rate this guy. He's way better than I thought because I hadn't heard anything about him before. You
like start following him more, and you go, oh wow, he's got credentials.
Yeah, he's really good. And his theme is fantastic.
Flips, is there any AEW themes that kind of stand out for you?
Are we planning this out, or are we actually in the podcast right now?
Yeah.
Okay. See, Yuka was. I can't really think of any good AEW themes that really appealed to me because, like, Judas. Yeah, we have Judas. We have. I don't know what to add.
That's very indicative of AEW themes.
Can we add a one that's going to, I think, kick off massively when we have crowds back again?
Go on.
It's going to be Hangman Page's.
Oh, I mean, it did.
It was. Yeah, I know it did already, but I mean, I think it's probably one where all the story around Page and like all that is going to be massive.
Yeah.
For
definitely.
Like the reactions to him. Specifically, like the reaction to him already was pretty big, right? But I feel like it'll jump up a notch once we get crowds back.
I think that's going to be the big thing about just having crowds back in general is that people who have excelled in 2020 are going to just explode when crowds come back. Because now the crowd are able to cheer for them live and in front of them.
So I have one more WWE theme and 3 New Japan themes left on my list.
Let's get WWE out the way. As we do most times.
Okay. Well, again, as you only did the top 5, there's going to be one of these there's going to be a couple of these you're going to agree with me on, but you didn't include in yours. Broken Dreams, Drew McIntyre's old theme.
Oh my god, yes. I completely forgot about Broken Dreams.
Bring it back. I'd love Gallantry, but bring it back.
Oh. Flips, you have to be the decider here. Gallantry or Broken Dreams for Drew.
The thing is, I'm going more. Broken Dreams I really like.
Everyone's Broken Dreams.
Broken Dreams is a great song. It's an actually good song as well, right? And it's just a better song than Gallantry. Gallantry is, again, a Seafoss loop. It's a good Seafoss loop, but it's one of the more generic ones. It's basically Scottish man big, innit?
Yeah, that's about right.
It's metal and bagpipes. It's Scottish man big wrestler, innit? Right? It's nowhere near as good as Broken Dreams. Broken Dreams is an actual song.
Broken Dreams is subtle.
It's subtle. It's more like, I'm gonna, kick your head in. But like, I'm gonna do it because like I'm gonna fix the world and stuff, which is good for a face theme.
But I can see why they don't use it, because I think when we're talking about stingers, Broken Dreams starts way too quiet for any sort of sting to happen.
I feel like you could go into the chorus as the stinger. You could start, like, if you're doing a Rumble entrance, you can start with that.
Yeah.
But again, Gallantry was great, but I don't know whether that was just because of how the Rumble was really well planned last year. Last year's Rumble is probably one of the best choreographed Rumbles.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that Gallantry hit halfway through. It is literally halfway through, isn't it? He's 16, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because it was
question mark.
Or was he 15? Hang on, I have the Rumble thing off. 16. He was 16. I remembered it correctly.
Congratulations.
Right, he was 16, so he was literally after the halfway mark, and then he came out. Everyone cheered. He was the favorite to win. He ran in, Ricochet, lobbed Brock in the balls, and then he whacked it. Then Drew kicked his head off and kicked him out of the ring, and it was great. It was like, because it was a great moment, because you had Brock dominate for the first half, and then Drew took him out with one Claymore.
On this day, you made a star.
Yeah, exactly. It was really good.
I feel like let's do a tangent, because now that we've talked about the Royal Rumble, is there anybody for this year's Royal Rumble that should get the Drew McIntyre, like, send him to the moon push?
I don't really know, because I've not kept up with WWE. But is there anyone who's sort of, if I was going to go with like dream pick and be like, give someone like the thank you, Cesaro.
Oh, that's a shout. That's a really good shout. I think he's one of the favorites, actually. Like, legitimately, because he's like, I think he's face now. Like, he had some really good matches and just turned face.
Well, but again, he would be the like, thank you for what you've done for us type thing. Give him the Rumble win, give him a match at Mania, give him a spotlight.
If I recall, the two favorites right now, for making a new star winners are Big E and Keith Lee.
I wouldn't mind Keith winning. I wouldn't mind Big E winning.
Yeah, I think either of those winning. I think Big E makes more sense for story.
Yeah.
Where
probably.
It's like, Kofi had his moment, Big E's now going to have his moment. I think that would be the better story. But Keith Lee,
Keith Lee winning the Rumble would be a nice moment, though.
Yeah.
Like, to finally, don't you forget about Keith.
Absolutely.
So are we? I think we've decided we like Broken Dreams more because it's the better theme.
Yes.
Even if Gallantry is a good theme and was great in the Royal Rumble last year.
Yes.
So are we going to go through do you have any more flips? that you want to bring up for your top themes?
I'm not really sure. I was just kind of going through what I felt like at the time. I didn't really have a list, so I don't know how many I've done.
Just spitballing. Just spitballing. This is the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, nothing comes to mind.
Okay, well then, I guess we're just going to finish on my last three, which are all New Japan themes.
Wow.
And one, Ian, I was shocked you didn't put on yours, so I'm going to start with it. She's Moonchild, which is Juice Robinson's theme.
I was tempted. I was really tempted, but I just preferred the other themes I put on.
Yeah,
it's not because I don't like it.
It's in character. It's just great. It's so nice and it's energetic. It just fits him so well. It's a bop that the crowd gets into because they all sing along to it. It's just great, isn't it? Yeah. It's a fantastic theme. It really fits Juice so well, and he fits his energetic, very swearing, punky style of eclectic mix of stuff and 70s 80s pop culture style mix, because he is basically that, isn't he? Yeah, he's basically he's like a mishmash of all the 60s through to the 90s in everything in his attire and whatever.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'd say Juice's theme's probably he's one of the really great New Japan themes as well, because it's so different to everything else.
Yeah. It really is. I think the only theme that's kind of like it is Yoshihashi's. But I don't.
Yeah, sort of. I guess
we don't like Yoshihashi's theme.
Yeah, because we don't like his entrance because it's long.
It takes him legitimately a whole minute to come out.
To come out the curtain, yeah.
Yeah.
Not even to come out, to get out the curtain.
And then he just walks with a stick.
Big sticky boy.
Big stick Yoshihashi.
Okay. So my final two picks are two sides of the same coin, really. Because they are Hado, which is Goto's theme, and Rising Dragon, which is Shingo Takagi's theme.
I completely forgot that you really like Goto's theme.
I love Hado. Hado is a great theme. It's just
it fits.
It fits him really well. It's a really nice sort of mix of metal and rock influences with Japanese styled sound cuts and intermissions. It works really well with how he comes out and his style. It's a really just great theme in general, because it's one of those things where it puts a lot of atmosphere behind Goto without needing anything but the theme, which is what I think. I think that's what the mark of a great theme is not only matching the character, but giving them presence before they've even set foot in the ring.
Yeah.
And definitely. you get a lot of Goto's, you get his honor, you get his, you get that he's a face, you get that he's, heavy hitting, you get that he's inspired by, Japanese culture and, heritage, because his dad was obviously a massive wrestler in New Japan back in the day, right? It adds so much to Goto as a character. And on the flip side of that, I just really like Shingo's theme. I love Shingo. His theme's great. Rising Dragon is a great theme, though. Because it starts off with that really nice slow build up, and then drops into the rock metal thing, which is very Lij. It's very Lij theme, right?
Yeah.
Which makes it unique.
Yeah.
Because it's unique against all the other New Japan themes, because they are the outcasts, the ungovernable ones. They are the ones who are meant to be a bit countercultural, a bit out there. And it's one of those things where, again, it adds to his character, because he's the guy who comes out with the giant dragon mask and the hood and everything.
He is Dragon.
He is the Dragon Boy. Dovahkiin.
Wrong franchise, but I like the spirit.
You telling me you wouldn't be convinced after some of the inside out bumps that he does with people when he hits the pumping bomber, that he doesn't have the freaking Fusrodar or...
His lariats are very Fusrodar-esque. I think to wrap this section up, I think out of the companies we've spoken about, so it'd be AEW, WWE, and New Japan, who has the better overall themes?
I think you're going to know my opinion on this.
Well, go for it.
It's New Japan.
Yeah,
I love New Japan's themes because they're not too simple to be just like a CFOS loop, but they always are designed to add presence, right? And because New Japan doesn't really do complex entrances like, say, WWE, because they don't really use pyro as much. They don't use, because sometimes they're literally performing in a gym.
Yeah, exactly. Kurgan Hall is a big example.
Yeah, exactly. I think that like simplicity to add presence while adding presence to the character works really well.
I think I'll get my opinion out of the way because I'm basically the exact same. Yeah, I'll just add my opinion as well because my answer is also New Japan. I think for me, I really like themes that add to a character. Yeah, for me, the theme should always match the character. It's not just. There's a lot of like independent wrestlers who their themes are just their favorite songs, but then they're like their gimmick is like they're an accountant and they have like Iron Maiden blaring in the background or something like that. Like something silly like that. Like you go like what he wouldn't have that. But New Japan just get it. All their themes add to the character. The only one is intoxication, but it kind of also does add to the character by not adding to the character.
That is very true.
It's brain hurt. But yeah, New Japan is definitely my answer. I think just overall, nearly every theme fits a character, and it just adds to the overall product of the show. How about Flips? Out of the three we have spoken about, is there a particular one that you think is better?
I think you guys nailed it.
Yeah, you're
also, can we point out that we did technically talk about 4 because technically Yuka's theme is a Tokyo Joshi Pro theme. I believe
okay,
that is true.
Fair, yeah.
So if you wanted to not look like we're massive New Japan stans,
yeah,
maybe say
yeah, just say Joshi.
We do like wrestling besides New Japan. It's just we also really really like New Japan.
New Japan do it right. That's the thing. It's like we'd say WWE if all the WWE themes fit a character or had good stingers or were good. Like the only reason we all say New Japan is because New Japan are good at it. It's not us being like New Japan shills or anything like that. It's just the fact that we just like it. It's just our preference. And again, you'll understand more about where we come with our opinions in a future episode, which it'll explain quite a bit of just how we view things. But I think that wraps up wrestling themes. If you have a particular wrestling theme that you like, drop it down in the comments, and we'll either disagree or agree silently. Or if we've never heard of it before, we'll listen to it in our own spare time. So next up on the Geeky Grapplers podcast is the first new segment of the main structure that we intend to use for our podcast. And this segment is called Free Ep Sales Rep. I'm going to pass over to Lulu to explain the segment because it was his idea.
Yes, it was my idea. Now, if you're an anime fan, you might know of the free app rule, which is basically if you watch the first 3 episodes and you basically decide whether a show is or isn't for you. So, based on that, we're going to basically do that with ourselves. And we've extended it to everything. So, to start off with, the rules are basically that we're going to get between 60 to 90 seconds to basically give a short sales pitch or, an advertisement, basically, a quick summary saying why we think that people should watch it and what's good about what we're talking about. Then, once we finish that, the other members of the podcast are going to get basically the rest of the time in the segment, which should probably be about 10 minutes, to Q&A about it and see what they think about what we suggested. And then at the end, we're going to decide whether we would or would not take part in it, or whether we would watch it, or whether we would, want to watch it, or that sort of thing.
Hell yeah. I've put a timer on for 90 seconds. I'm being generous, giving you the full time. So today it is Lulu who's going to start us off with his thing that he's brought to the table, the imaginary virtual table. So without further ado, are you ready?
I am ready.
You steady?
I'll just say that to debut the segment, I decided to actually go with an anime because it fits the segment, like the format, easiest.
Absolutely. So, your time begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
So, I'd like to recommend to you gentlemen today a little anime I've been watching recently that came out this season called Cells at Work Code Black, and also its accompanying manga. Because I had read the manga before going in and watching it. And if you don't know Cells at Work is basically Osmosis Jones but Japanese. It's looking at the human body and various like bodily functions and explaining it through little anthropomorphized cells. And Code Black is the adult orientated version of this. So they gender swapped the red blood cell and white blood cell from the original, and they basically made it deal with like a body that's not healthy and is being mistreated. And it's genuinely probably one of the simultaneously the most horrific and yet fun things to watch, because it's basically watching what happens if you abuse your body for years and years and don't do anything healthy, like, I have done. Oh, God help me. And then getting guilty into it by all these little people who are struggling to live their lives normally. It's very fun. It's quite bloody and gruesome, so it's got some good like fights in it. I say I prefer the manga to the anime, but the anime is very good still. And I think you should watch it because it's probably one of the best debuting series this season from what I've seen so far. Definitely bingeable and very watchable. How am I doing for time?
You just finished.
Oh, that was good. Looks like 90 seconds is a good amount of time for it. That was completely unscripted. That was first take. I only took one take. It took Ian 4 to do the first intro bit.
Help me like that. How could you? Okay, Q&A section. First question, what?
Sorry? I'm sorry, what?
What? What bodies? Cells?
So, like, what? Be more specific with your question.
What is the manga actually like synopsis wise? Because I could not follow.
You follow a red blood cell, like in the original. Basically, the whole series is about. It's like biology classes, but fun. With that shown in action, right? So it's just like it's biology class, but with loads of action scenes thrown in.
Okay,
right?
I hate biology, so you're gonna have a bit of an uphill battle. So continue.
But it's like doing it in a fun way, right? So I think as well the fact that it's the more adult-orientated one, I feel like it probably works a lot better for the climate it's entering into now, because we've had a year where everyone's been indoors. No one, health is one of the things that's declining a lot at the minute, right?
Yeah.
So seeing what happens, like the first episode, it's about smoking, and the first chapter is also about the effects of smoking on the body, the effects of alcohol on the body, right? There's ones that deal with like sexually transmittable infections, right? It's very much a series that takes on taboo topics and like some of the shit that we do to ourselves in a good way that simultaneously blends like entertainment and like clever like ways of playing with like the liver processing alcohol is like a nightlife district, right?
I kind of like that.
Right, and so when they're getting the alcohol from red blood cells and like removing alcohol from the blood, and the effects of that is like the cells that carry out that process are like Hooters waitresses, basically. They're like taking care of the thing, like escorts, basically. And it's like these fun little ways of like playing with bodily functions to make it like it tells you the thing about it and like what the effects are like in reality, but you would never think you're being lectured to. It just feels more like, oh, that's the thing that's happening because it's the action in the anime, right? And it's well, so you ask your question. Yeah.
Is it like a continuing story, or is it just a case of like episode by episode is like a different topic?
Well, every episode is a different topic, but there's a running story through of basically of how shit the working conditions are. Which also, if you are, of a certain political alignment and may like a certain senators from Vermont,
Careful.
You might like some of the stuff it basically implies about like hostile work conditions and like stress, because that's like one of the main themes is how stressed everyone basically is. Like I would recommend watching the original Cells at Work as well. Obviously, I think it's a great series, but with the context of what the original Cells at Work is versus Code Black, it really shows like the difference between the two.
All right. Flips.
All right.
Questions.
So, what is the most enjoyable part of this anime? Is it a really good plot? Is it like really good character-wise? What's the biggest reason I should watch this?
I mean, I think probably I like the serialization of it, because it's always like it's like a Doctor Who story or like an X-Files story where it's like a monster of the week, but the monster is yourself because of what you're doing to yourself, right? I like that aspect of it, and also you're just trying to make me say how much I like the female white blood cell, because she's great.
What? No.
Because she's great. She's top tier, like thing. Actually, seeing as Ian's apparently going to be editing in images in this episode, so I'm setting him on this here. Get on that. Okay.
Oh boy.
There's this really nice meme of her that I like.
Okay, looking at it now, it's a very funny meme.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like the gender swap they did with it, because it made the dynamic interesting. Because obviously it's the same dynamic as in the original, but because of the like different way the body is, it's completely shifted in like the way it's presented.
All right.
Yeah, see, because anime's weird for me because I'm very much out of the loop for anime nowadays. So I was gonna ask, like, is it very like anime tropey, which sounds stupid.
It's not tropey.
Yeah,
genuinely is not another like anti-trope type things.
Like for me, who isn't into anime as much as I used to be, is it easy enough to like, is it easy enough to get into, if that makes sense?
I think so.
I don't need any like prior knowledge.
No, because I think it's more about being relatable and being about like trying to tell a moral without being moralizing. It just presents it as it is. Just, here is this thing. This is bad. Maybe we should do something about it in some way.
It sounds like what you get from like CBBS, where it's like, is it like Nina and the Neurons?
Okay, like you say that, but CBBS doesn't have like, well, female white blood cells in it, and it doesn't have like STDs and like bloody fights in which bacteria get bisected in half with katanas.
God damn. Well,
katanas.
Flips is sold.
Do they have the power of God and anime on their side, or just?
No,
anime?
They have nothing. Just depression and stress.
Oh my god! All right. Wow. On that note,
the rest of this podcast.
I think I'd probably give that a watch. I do like the idea of it like being a lesson while also not being a lesson. It's like
edutainment.
Yeah, edutainment.
It's like edutainment, but without the edu or without the tainment.
Without being Patronizing.
That's just nothing. Lulu, you've created nothing.
I told you we'd embrace nihilism at the start of this episode.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for giving it a go. Flips?
I've already watched it. I'm just pretending not to for the sake of the bit.
Yeah, he's just doing it for a bit. He watched it with me.
Yeah.
God damn it! All this time, I thought you were on my side.
You knew before we recorded the segment.
It's the bit. It's the bit. I'm doing the bit, guys. This is
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
This is a very good first attempt at this segment.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. And with that, we'll leave it there.
But that was free up sales rep.
That was free up sales rep.
Comment if there's anything you'd like us to try and then recommend to anyone else. Tell us if you watched Cells at Work, Code Black, and got very confused like Ian did when I explained it.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll move on to new segment 2. So next up on the podcast is merch review. Basically, it's just stuff that we've bought off the internet. It doesn't have to be wrestling related, but it's usually wrestling related. And we're also looking at the new arrivals on Pro Wrestling Tees and picking a favorite shirt and a least favorite shirt. But I believe today, Lulu, holding the really being the backbone in this episode, has some new merch to talk about.
Yes, well, it's technically new, I suppose, because it's new to me. But I did order it on the 3rd of August last year. But like 3 days ago, or however long it was, it's longer than that, isn't it? However long ago it was. However long ago it was, in January, let's remind you, my AW figures that I pre-ordered finally turned up, which were meant to turn up in September, which is when my birthday is. And then we're meant to turn up in December, so it could have been a Christmas present, I guess, and then didn't turn up until January.
And which two did you get again?
The ones I got for my birthday, I ordered one for myself and two. One was for my mum and one for my brother to get me. Was Chris Jericho and Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks, and I also bought myself a Kenny Omega, which I know I own 2 of.
Yeah, of course.
I have a US release and I have a UK released one.
Because out of all of us, Lulu has been relentless in getting the AEW figures. I have
9 of them.
I have 2. I have MJF and Adam Page. Flips, I recall, has none.
0.
Breaker has at
2?
least 2 or 3. Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, but
he's definitely got a Kenny. I know he's got a Kenny.
You are just on another level compared to us and figures.
I am T-posing on these fools right now.
Mean, if we're talking WWE figures, I got that game on lockdown. I got like my box underneath my desk of my wrestling figures still, which I feel like will end up being an episode one day. But not today, because the figures are great. I still would prefer if they brought out a new Young Bucks one that didn't have the Elvis attire on.
There is one. It's Series 3.
Oh.
Series 3 are normal figures.
Oh, fair enough. Because I preferred that, because the only ones I can find are the Elvis ones. I don't like them.
Also, considering that as well, they have announced who's in Series 4 of the AEW figures.
I saw, but I missed who was in it.
So, as I recall, as I'm now desperately Googling to remember...
As quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible to get it up. There we go. It is Santana and Ortiz, obviously of Proud and Powerful, formerly LAX. Matt Hardy. On here, they for some reason put Dustin Rhodes, but it is actually a different Cody, I believe. Another Kenny, and everyone's favourite twink, Sammy Guevara.
Yes! Yes! I can finally buy a twink. I love Sammy Guevara.
Leave it in.
Leaving it in. We're leaving it in. I love Sammy Guevara. Sammy, please respond to my DM.
No.
No, please, for the sake of everyone else.
I take back what I said. Don't leave it in. Don't leave it in.
I'm joking. He's just
oh God, he's a simp.
he's one of my favorites. I'm leaving it in. Don't worry about it. No, I find it weird that they aren't bringing out first editions of everyone else, but they keep bringing out like Cody's and Kenny's and Bucks. Like, surely you have a big enough roster, you kind of want to put everyone out first.
No, I thought they only had Cody, Kenny, and the Bucks in the roster. I thought that was the only wrestlers. Everyone else was just there.
Oh, that's a take.
No, you've also got Yuka. And they have a women's division.
Apparently.
Which you wouldn't know, King, because they've only made 2 women's figures so far.
I was going to say they've made, what, Riho?
And one of them was Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah, Riho and Brandy.
Who's the manager?
Also, congratulations, Brandy Rhodes, on the expectation
congrats on being pregnant.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think the figurines, in fairness, have all been of really good quality. Like, I know I said I don't like the Young Bucks one, but in general, they're all really good. And the fact that they have, like, extra parts to them, I always think is just a nice detail. You can just pull it off and, like, have, like, a Hangman doing his finger sign.
Oh, yeah, as well. Breaker does have Moxley as well. I remember he's got Moxley. Because it's one of the few ones I don't have. If anyone has a Moxley for, like, 20 quid.
Yeah. I'm sure we can work something out. For myself, merch-wise, I'm only waiting on one shirt to come out, and it's the Brody Lee Memorial shirt that they were selling, like, on the day, but on the, like, show that they were, the tribute show. That's exactly what I was trying to say. I don't care that the shipping was a bit more. I just wanted to help support it, and it's just a really nice t-shirt. So, definitely gonna get a picture of that when that finally arrives, but I am waiting ever so patiently because anything that comes from Pro Wrestling Tees to the UK takes at least 7 months to get here. Please note that's probably an exaggeration.
That is an exaggeration. But saying that, my last order from PWT, which was actually Shop AEW, did take like a month and a half to get here.
I think they've said on the site, because of like recent events, I think it's something like expect like over 21 days for international shipping. And I'm like, I'm just waiting for the Euro shop. That's what I'm waiting for now.
Yeah, we cannot wait for the Euro shop. But by we cannot, we mean me and Ian and Breaker.
Yeah,
because
Flips is got it easy.
Flips is fine. He lives in the US.
Guess what he wants.
Woo!
You got anything waiting? Flips? Anything come? Anything waiting?
Remember when I said I wasn't going to talk about dice?
Oh, here it is, boys.
So I recently got a little set of dice. They're really pretty, and they're glass. Dahlia glass dice. They're from a Wormwood Kickstarter I did.
I think you've mentioned this before in like a conversation.
Beautiful.
They are so nice.
Obviously, Ian will edit in a picture of these pretty dice right here.
Yeah.
That we are seeing on our screens.
Episode 1 was so much easier to do.
Are made of glass, and it really feels like they would break if I dropped them. But I'm not going to drop them because, you have to take care of your dice.
Are you actually going to play with them though? Like legitimately?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Because I'm terrified to play with them.
If you roll them in a thing, you should be fine.
Oh yeah,
dice tray.
Yeah, dice tray. Yeah, I'm a normie who just like throws them to the other side of the room.
Yeah, don't be like the Lonely Island. Don't throw them on the ground. Just roll them.
That's it. We've only got current references for you guys on this podcast.
Guys, do you remember Doom?
Yeah, but does it Doom, guys?
Can they beat Goku?
God, not even Doom music. or let's do the other part.
Hey guys, remember the Tiger King?
Man, I bet that pardon's coming any day now.
I love it. This is the peak of comedy, obviously. We don't need 2021 to have any more comedy. We just need to go back to 2011. That's all we need.
When did you think the Tiger King was created?
I haven't seen Tiger King.
He's not seen anything.
Yep.
We'll get to that. But in terms of the Pro Wrestling Tees new arrivals, we have picked a best and a worst, and oh my god, the best shirt is the best shirt. My god. Danhausen. If you don't know who Danhausen is, I implore you to go and look him up. He is, in his own words, very nice and very evil. It's just... How do you explain Danhausen? Other than very nice and very evil. He is just a very, very entertaining wrestler.
Swearing.
No swearing, yeah.
No swearing.
No swearing.
Which unfortunately I've broken the rule on.
Yes, thank you for being the first. But I follow him on Twitter, and he was tweeting a few days ago about bootleg Danhausen shirts, and he decided in response to the bootleggers, he would make a bootleg shirt of the bootleg shirt. So all it is, and I'll put it on screen, is a screenshot of this bootleg Danhausen shirt, and he's now putting that onto his own shirt on his official page and selling it. And I think we can safely say it's the best. It is the best shirt of the fortnight of the new arrivals.
Yeah. It definitely probably it's a great like meme t-shirt, especially because it even has like the scroll through to the next image to look at more in the selection, and it's completely black barred on it's a white web page on a black t-shirt.
I really hope that the ready to ship in 24 hours bit is on the actual bootleg shirt, because I feel like that has to be an accident. It's just the way that it's on the t-shirt. I have to think, is this bootleg that bad that they forgot to cut off the ready to ship in 24 hours thing? It's not 24, it's 72. I can't read. But yeah, that is absolutely the best shirt. But the worst shirt, and I think I'll leave it to one of you two to explain it, is the Will Ospreay Commonwealth Kingpin shirt.
I like when Lulu rants, so Lulu, you go ahead.
How did you describe it when we were looking at them?
I usually know no words that we can't use, so I'm going to say that it makes him look like the female white blood cell, and if you know what she looks like, you'll know what I mean by that. Because let's just say it makes him look like he's a bit too well endowed in the chest area, shall we say?
Looks like he's got bosoms. I got you. I'll get it.
But are you Ivor Biggin?
Don't get it.
But no, it's one of those like comic book style shirts, but it's not done like it's really weirdly done because it's got like the comic book laid over a text and not like comic booked out, but it's not actually like a comic. It's just like he's done like a comic character, and it genuinely looks like one of our least favorite. Well, would you say it's our least favorite promos, or would you say it's one of the best promos because we'd like to laugh at it? It's one of the
best of the worst. In which absolutely.
Ospreay says, "I am the Billy Goat, hear me roar," and then lets out a noise, which I'm not going to recreate because we like our listeners.
Yes. Go and search for it because it is not a roar. But we can safely say it's not a roar.
That is true.
In terms of the shirt,
I have a feeling as well that if you wash it alone, it'll immediately just disintegrate.
Yeah. Is it me, or is the Rev Pro title that he's wearing look not cartoon-esque? It looks as if they've taken a picture of the Rev Pro title and stuck it in the middle of the picture.
It also looks oversaturated because you can't see the Rev Pro logo properly. You can't even read that
it's Rev Pro, which I think might be like a thing that they have to do because obviously they don't own the rights to use Rev Pro's logo.
That's true. But yeah.
But if that's the case, don't pick a shirt where he's wearing the Rev Pro title.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is definitely out of the new arrivals that we saw, definitely one of the worst ones. But Danhausen up at the top. I don't think we're gonna rank these every time.
No,
but this
is just an excuse to talk about just like excuse, stuff.
Yeah, talk about merch.
I also, going back to Cells at Work, I got a platelet figure, like one of the Crane Game Machine prizes from Dekai Anime in the UK. for about 20 quid, and I'm very pleased with it. It's very cute.
Here's a picture of it.
I don't have a picture of it because it's in the box still.
That's cool. Here's a picture of it out of the box. If we can find an image of it. But yeah, we got some good merch coming. We've got some good merch that's arrived. We're doing well. We'll find out if Breaker has any new merch on the next episode. But other than that, we'll go on to the final segment of the show. So on to the last segment of the podcast, and it's the one that I'm scared of. It's called Ian Hasn't Seen Anything. And for context, I haven't seen like 90% to 95% of anything. Like, I don't watch movies or TV shows or anything of that ilk regularly. I'm very much a YouTube boy. If I have a free time to watch something, I stick on some YouTube videos, or I watch what my parents have got on, which is usually Disney or terrible Chinese cartoons that someone has dubbed into English. But we are using this segment to make amends for the films that I have not seen and force myself to watch them. And this episode...
Because you want to, right, Ian?
Because, yeah, of course. Yeah, and I think it's safe to say the first episode of this is a doozy. Because it is, as most people put it, the best Christmas movie ever.
And also what we did promise in the first episode.
If you haven't listened to that. It's Die Hard.
Check it out.
It's Die Hard. Oh my god.
Yeah, he hasn't seen Die Hard until literally the day we are recording this.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want to know about it?
Well, what did you know going in before you sat down and watched it? And besides us telling you that it was the best Christmas film, because it is, and to watch it, what else did you know about it?
As stupid as it sounds, the only thing I knew about it was that Bruce Willis was in it.
Right.
And that's all I knew about Die Hard, is that it was Bruce Willis and a Christmas movie. So
give us your thoughts then.
I expected it to be action. That's as much as I expected it to be.
Well, it is under the action category in our list of things you haven't seen.
That's a very good point. I think for an action, because I don't watch a lot of action movies, obviously. But out of the few that I have seen, it's definitely a really, really good, really good action movie. I was a little bit concerned that the start was quite slow, but then the more I watched on, it was very intentional. Like, it was slow to then get to a bit of action, and then slow to get to an increase of action, and then each action sequence was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which I thought was a really nice detail. I immediately fell in love with the villain, Hans Gruber, I think is his name, who I didn't know was Alan Rickman until I saw the credits. I'll admit that. I didn't know it was Alan Rickman.
That's what Alan Rickman looked like in 1988.
Yep, and I would not know. Oh boy.
However, surely the voice should have given it away to you.
What?
I would have thought.
What, the Sans German voice?
Yeah, just the normal voice where he's just when he talks in English, it's very much Alan Rickman's normal voice.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a lot of Alan Rickman to give a good opinion on Alan Rickman, let's say. But if he's anything like he is in Die Hard, I think I'm probably going to like him if I watch more Alan Rickman movies. Trying to think of like certain bits that I quite liked. I didn't realize that Yippee-Ki-Yay Motherfucker was from Die Hard, because I listened to a song called Yippee-Ki-Yay, and it's one of those moments where you find the sample, the original sample from something, and you go, "Oh, I missed out on this." But yeah, that was fun to find out. What did I What scenes did I really like? Other than Al. Al is the best. He's the most wholesome boy. The police officer that John talks to for the entire movie. He's a really lovely man. I think a thing that I quite enjoyed was like some of the details on the villain's plans. Like when Al, the policeman, goes into, is it Nakatomi Tower for the first time, the German? They're German, right?
They're all German apart from Argyle, who's the hacker guy.
Yes, yeah. I like.
Actually, no, they're all like It's like a multi-ethnic crew because there's an Asian guy who I don't know like what his actual origin is, so I won't say.
He just eats chocolate. That's all
he does. He steals 2 candy bars throughout the entire film.
That was
his, there's an Italian. There's the 2 Germans because there's the what's his face, the guy with the AUG. Who's
yeah, I know.
The massive bloke.
Carl? Is his name Carl?
Yeah. Yeah, Carl.
Yeah.
Carl, you can't shoot at John McClane.
Don't get it.
It's alarms of hatch references. I'm doing old internet meme references again.
Not again. One of my favorite things was when Al came into the Nakatomi Tower for the first time, and the German just put on like the best American accent, like just off the bat. It really threw me off, but I loved it. It was such good detail. Where he was just like putting on the football, picking his feet up, and like, I'm not gonna make an American accent. I'm not gonna offend Flips, but yeah.
No, do it.
No. You know, I have standards. Yeah, I think overall.
What was your favorite action scene then? Because it is an action movie. So what would you say? What would you say is the best moment of action?
Best moment of action. I quite liked. I think it's the scene just before he throws one of the bodies out onto the police car, and it's the guy. He's like underneath a table and like crawling backwards as this guy's shooting him from above, and the guy goes like, "Oh, you fucked up, buddy. You shouldn't hesitate when you got the chance to kill someone." And then he just from underneath the table just starts shooting him. He just goes, "Thanks for the advice, kid." One-liners, man. I missed one-liners in action movies. I love them.
So, I will then take it from a different angle. What is your opinion on John McClane as a character? Because generally speaking, John McClane's probably the reason why Die Hard works so well.
I really like the character of John McClane. You don't need a lot of context for his background other than he is a cop from New York who has a bit of a troubled relationship with his wife, yet still loves her. So that, and then you see that progress throughout the movie. And I also like that he gets progressively more and more hurt throughout the movie, and just like is just able to have a conversation with Al like all the time. Like he's still down to earth and I'll say down to earth. Yeah, he's not panicking. Like he's got the experience to be able to get himself through this, and he's just witty. Just Bruce Willis being witty is great. I genuinely think Bruce Willis is one of my more popular actors.
I can't wait to watch Pulp Fiction with you then.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be great.
Oh man, that's gonna be amazing.
Anything else in terms of, because I a lot of my like I actually put that like all of John and Han's interactions were like for me one of the big highlights because they play off each other so well. Like just I don't mean just when they meet up for the first time. I mean just every radio conversation they have is each actor is playing off each other so well, and it's so entertaining because it adds to the tension. Obviously, yeah, it's great.
That first scene where they meet is probably one of the best scenes in that film. Oh, especially because the way it's shot with all the like low Dutch angles and these two playing mind games against each other. I really like that.
It was really good.
I've got 3 more things I want to ask you then.
Okay.
Because I think this is how we're going to go. What did you think of the glass scene?
Oh, what, when he
runs barefoot through the glass.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
and then sits in the bathroom pulling the glass from his feet.
Yeah, that was. I think the worst part was when he crawled into the bathroom and you just saw this pool of blood just fall out of his foot, and you just go, "Oh, that's not good."
Sounds like a fun day to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
It sounds like an average Tuesday. Yeah, it was a really, really good, really, really good scene. I don't think it didn't throw me off that much. I mean, most of the stuff was quite gory in a sense. Like, yeah, it wasn't like explicit gore, but like you saw like bits of body part like falling off at certain points, like when he's like shooting that guy's knees as he's like running towards him, and you just see like bits of him just fall off as he shoots him. Like, it's quite gory in a sense, not like horror movie gory, but still got some really good action. Yeah, gruesome. Which for somebody who hasn't watched a lot of action movies is like, ooh, really surprised me.
Okay. What didn't you like? Was there anything you didn't like specifically?
I felt like there were a couple scenes where it was kind of like, this didn't need to be that long. Like, when you first are introduced to Al, and he's buying like a bunch of Twinkies for his wife. Like, I get that it's making him into a family man and making him into the everyman. But then when the cashier's like, "Oh, I thought cops only ate donuts," and Al turns around.
He said earlier he's not going to try an American accent.
Shut up. And then Al is like, "Oh no, my wife's pregnant. It's for my wife," and he goes, "Uh huh." But then he keeps going on about it, and I was like, "Well, no, we get the idea. He has a wife with cravings, like."
He has a wife, you know.
He has a wife.
Wait, you've not seen Life of Brian, have you?
No.
That's a no. Okay, you didn't get that reference either. Do you see what we're dealing with here, folks?
Yeah.
Do you see this?
It's bad.
Do you see this?
It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. There's nothing you can reference with pop culture that he gets. It's terrible. So, my final question, Ian, is: would you recommend it?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It was a very enjoyable watch.
And then, as a tangent from that, would you rewatch it?
Yes, I think I would rewatch it again, just because it was fun. It was just a fun watch. I know before, I was trying very hard not to compare it to John Wick, because that's the only other action film that I've recently seen.
And to be clear, he watched that last year with us because we made him watch it.
Mm-hmm.
That was such a condescending.
In October of 2020.
Yeah,
he managed to get to October last year. He's 21 soon, and he'd never seen John Wick.
Yeah, I'm bad. I'm really bad. But yeah, I was trying very hard not to compare it to John Wick just because of the time frame of how different it was. But in terms of the action was really good. All the scenes were really tense. I don't think there's anything where I'm looking at it and going, "Oh, that was terrible. Oh, that was a boring scene." Nothing was boring. I think the start was concerning because I didn't know what to expect. But once the first few action scenes start happening, you get to enjoy it. And just Bruce Willis was the perfect actor for that, in my opinion. I don't think I could imagine anyone else playing as John McClane.
John McClane?
McClane?
I will actually say that what's quite funny is you have no context for it, but Bruce Willis at the time was basically seen as like a very family-friendly actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a sitcom actor. That was his thing. He was known for. He was like, I think it's Family Matters and stuff like that.
When did The Fifth Element come out? Because that's the other movie I've seen Bruce Willis in.
The Fifth Element is from 1997.
Oh, right.
Which is after Die Hard and after Pulp Fiction, which are probably two very famous, like probably his two biggest non like thing. But yeah, was sort of a family name for sitcoms, and then suddenly he's this like very
badass cop.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, he's not really. He's not an overstated badass. He's an everyman, really. He's a relatable hero. That's why he gets hurt so much. And then the later films kind of forget that.
Yeah,
so let's not talk about them.
I see where you're coming with that, with the relatability.
For God's sake, half the film he doesn't wear shoes.
Yeah. I can relate. Wearing shoes at work? Pff, nah.
Who needs shoes?
But
yeah, so yeah, that was Ian has finally watched Die Hard this week.
Do we know what we're watching next? I don't.
I think what I will recommend we will say next is another action film, bit shorter, I think. It's about an hour and a half, I think. Is Mad Max Fury Road.
Ah, yes. Mad Max. I know very little about Mad Max other than all wrestling characters have an influence in Mad Max. They
really, really do.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I'm quite excited to watch it because I've heard that it's really good. Obviously, it's Mad Max.
And I'm really looking forward to rewatching it because I've seen it, I think, 3 times now, and I've really enjoyed it every time.
There we go. And with that, it brings us to the end of Ian hasn't seen anything. And now I can finally say that I've seen Die Hard.
Hooray! Oh, actually, supplementary question. How would you rate it as a Christmas movie? As we approach the end of January.
It's like sacrilege to say Christmas any time other than December. I get it. I get why people say it's the best Christmas movie. But it's not a Christmas movie. It's set on Christmas Eve, not Christmas Day.
They say Christmas so much throughout that entire film. It's a Christmas movie.
Wait. So your criteria then for being a Christmas movie is it has to be set on Christmas Day.
I don't know. It's Christmas. I don't want to think about Christmas. It's January. Don't make me think about Christmas.
Okay, he's broken, I think.
Okay. That's our objective for every one of these segments from now on.
Yes, it is.
So with that, it brings us to the end of episode 2 of the Geeky Grapplers podcast. Hopefully, Breaker will join us for episode 3, and hopefully we will have the original plan of our perceptions of wrestling and our origins. Is there anything you guys want to add before we end this podcast? This is the 6th time I've done this, so please make it brief. I don't want to have to do this again.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding that bell, guys.
Ding that bell.
Yeah. Also, watch Cells at Work, because I told you to. Yes,
and also watch Die Hard if you haven't seen it. Don't be like me.
Or if you have seen it, just rewatch it.
Just
great film.
Exactly. Please let us know what your favorite part of the podcast was. If there's anything you want to change, anything that you would suggest, we're quite open to suggestions. This is the first time we've done the main structure of the podcast that hasn't been just a pay-per-view review. So we'd really like to know if there's anything that we could do to make this a better podcast.
Maybe not take 7 takes to do the outro.
Yeah, maybe not take 7 takes on the outro. But it's fine. We're getting there. I think that's everything. I think we're going to leave it there before I mess this up. So I hope you guys join us for episode 3 of the Geeky Grapplers podcast. Goodbye! See you later! Whoa!
Okay, cut it before I say tickle my...